Welcome to my channel, Ken here. Today let's take a look at the Benchmark HPA4 headphone and preamp. Let's go! Here we have the Benchmark HPA4. It's a headphone amp and a preamp. So all analog, and I'm using it in my studio right now for various things, but mainly to drive the Odyssey LCD 5s, but I also use them on the LCD X's as well as some other headphones like Biodynamic 770s, for example, or the ATM Audio-Technica. What are they called? 50X. But I mean, this is a high resolution preamp, high resolution headphone amp, and it's based on the THX technology, which has a reputation of being hyper analytical and not very musical sounding. At least that's the rumors. Now, I don't agree with that with this particular amp. So the way I have it rigged now is I have a dedicated output for my DAC running in the system here, and also, as you can see behind me, I'm running some Yamahas for testing purpose. I normally don't have them hooked up in here, but I wanted to see how the preamp sounded as well. But mainly it's used for headphones, and it's really cool. I can tell you that right now. For one thing, it has 6 watts of output. Now, I replaced a Burson Soloist 3X that had 8 watts of output, but 6 watts is more than sufficient to drive the LCD 5s, for example, or the LCD X's for sure, and certainly the other headphones, and so with headroom to spare for sure. So I think as far as the output is concerned, it's more than adequate. It also has, it's fully balanced design, so it's super quiet. Besides the balance part, which makes it quieter, it also is quiet to begin with, even on single-ended, but way quiet when you're using it balanced. That means balanced in and balanced headphones out, in this case, and balanced out to the speakers. Very quiet. I don't think it's sterile sounding at all. I think it's very neutral. Now, you're not going to get the awesome tube 3D quality, like almost like you can reach out and touch something. That's not the strength of this preamp. You got to get a triode preamp or something like that to drive your headphones, but they're not neutral. And in the studio, neutral, flat, and detailed is on the top of my list. See, the thing is, when you're dealing with the studio setup, you want to be presented all the details, including the bad stuff, because when you hear it, you want to fix it. And in this case, it does an excellent job of that, especially with headphones that are super resolution headphones like the LCD 5s. I mean, they really work well together. And also the bottom end on these, because planar magnetic headphones has a reputation of having a super nice low end, and that's the case here for sure. It also has a really nice top end, but it's very solid state, I gotta say that. And if you want that fluidity, probably not the right direction to go. But in the studio, you want it as revealing as possible and as neutral as possible, and I think this is achieving that. So for studio use, I think it's magnificent. As far as the lower mid-range, which is always a problem with anything, I think, to get the lower mid-range right and have it detailed and fleshed out, this is where this thing shines above all else, because all the other things I've heard the headphones on, and even preamps in general, they have a hard time fleshing out that lower mid-range, the bottom end of a guitar, the top end on the bass, cellos, and the lower end of a piano. It just gets mushy. Not with this one. This one definitely delineates it and separates it out in a really nice way. So I'm very happy with that. And also because the headphones are hyper revealing right there, it does a great job. Now I tried that Class A, like I said before, by Burson, and it did have a mushiness in that region. It sounded great, especially in the very top end, but it just couldn't flesh it out the way I needed it to be fleshed out, especially when you're dealing with a lot of like orchestral or low frequency synths and stuff like that. Now, my verdict on this thing is, if you're looking for something that's hyper revealing and flat, then this is the thing. This is the one to get right here. Now, am I fond of that display? That's probably my least favorite part of it, but it is functional, that it's a touchscreen. You can navigate around the unit and set it up that way, which is nice, that you can, each output and input can be adjusted separately. So if you have something that's, consumer versus, pro audio, and there's going to be +4 to -10. That's a big difference in output. So you can actually adjust that, and vice versa, what comes out of this thing as well. So I don't have the remote control with this because it's right next to me in my studio. So I don't need a remote control. So I couldn't test that. So the HPA4 is a great unit for the studio. I know it's expensive. It's definitely in the higher range of what it's supposed to be competing with. However, I do think it's out-competing what I've heard in that price range. So it's worth it for me because it's speeding up my work and I'm making better decisions. But so far, it's here to stay. Love it. Thanks for watching. I hope you like this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, take care.